Welcome to the monorail safari here at the Dallas Zoo. My name is Tanja with a J, and I'm going to be your tour guide today. If everybody can hear me okay, can you give me a little wave, please? All right, thank you all so much. Before we get started, I do have to ask that you please remain seated throughout the duration of the ride. Also, if you have any little ones under the age of 3, make sure they're seated in the lap of an adult. Please refrain from eating, drinking, or smoking on the train. You may have or drink water if you brought some on board. And lastly, please keep your arms, legs, and other belongings on this side of the metal bars at all times. Now that we have all of that out of the way, we can get started on this 1-mile trek through the wilds of Africa. We're going to start here in the rainforest. You're looking for a tall, dark brown animal that has white and black stripes on its legs. These are very shy and elusive animals, also very solitary. They are called okapis. When scientists first discovered the okapi in the early 1900s, they thought it was a relative of the zebra, of course, because of those stripes. But after being studied for many, many years, come to find out they're actually a closer relative to the giraffe. They have several giraffe-like characteristics, such as those sloping hindquarters, the shape of the face, the long neck, and their tongue. They have a 14-inch long purple prehensile tongue. The word prehensile means grasping. So they use their tongues kind of like we use our hands. And they use it, of course, for eating grass, leaves, and hay. But they also use their very long tongue for a little bit of personal hygiene. They will actually clean out their ears, their noses, and even wipe their eyeballs down with it. The only place on earth to find the okapi in the wild is the Ituri rainforest of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We are now leaving the rainforest, and we have to do a little bit of climbing to get into our next habitat. We are now going high into the mountains of Egypt and the Sudan. Here we are looking for African mountain goats called Nubian ibex. I know it's getting a little hot out here. They're probably hiding underneath the trees or behind the mountains. Keep your eyes peeled though. There we go. You look at this mountain range right up front here. You'll see our billy goat. The billy goat is the male. He has those very long, curvy horns that can be up to 4 feet long and weigh as much as 40 pounds on their heads. The nanny goats, or the females, have those very sleek and slender horns. And then we have a couple of kids out here. There's one that looks like he's about to ram the tree or something. That kid was born about 2 months ago. They are very agile when they're born. They have to learn very quickly to get away from predators like leopards.
Oh, đúng rồi, trọng sĩ.
We are now leaving the mountains and descending into the woodlands. When most people think about Africa, they think about the deserts or the savannas. But Africa is actually 40% woodlands, which means it consists of lots of trees and lots of grasses. As we travel along, if you look right up front here amongst the trees, you're going to find 3 pillar-looking items. They are replicas of termite mounds. Termite mounds are beneficial to a lot of animals. Smaller animals use them as a lookout tower, and bigger animals use them as a scratching post. Speaking of our bigger animals, look towards the right-hand side. We have a couple of different types out here. I'll start with the most familiar ones. They are zebras. Grevy's zebras, to be exact. There are 3 different species of zebras that exist, and these Grevy zebras are the biggest and the most endangered of all 3 species. A good way to tell the difference between the Grevy zebra and the Grant zebra, which you can find out in our savannas today, is that the Grevy zebra has very thin and narrow stripes that do not go all the way under their belly. Their underbelly is totally white. And we have a couple of other animals out here. There's one behind the zebras, and then if you look all the way up to the top of the hill, you will see a couple of very tall antelopes. Matter of fact, they are Africa's tallest antelopes. They are called elands. The eland is not a very fast runner at all, but they are excellent jumpers, and they can jump a span of about 10 feet from a standing position. As we travel along this cliffy ledge, keep your eyes peeled. You might get a glimpse of our monorail mascot. He's a small green lizard located towards the end. When you see him, just wave and say, "Hello, Oscar." Oscar's been sitting there for over 20 years now and has not moved 1 inch. And those first animals that we've seen so far have been good examples of prey animals, P-R-E-Y. It means that they could be eaten by animals that we call predators. We're going to look past the area with the waterfall going right next door, looking for a small tan predatory cat. Look all the way to the left-hand side, resting on the ledge. All the way to the left, eye level with the train, resting on the ledge. There you go. Point them out when you see them for your neighbors. That cat is called a caracal. The word caracal is derived from a Turkish word that means black ear. That's how they got their name. They have those black tufts of hair on their ears. I know they are small, cute, and cuddly looking, but they are very fierce when it comes to hunting. They have strong hind legs, which enable them to outrun a lot of animals, and occasionally catch one and have it for dinner. They can also jump up to 8 feet into the air to swat down a low-flying bird and have that for a tasty afternoon snack. Now, if you guys will listen very closely with your safari ears, you may be able to hear our next habitat before you even see it.
Sini ni ada udah malah. Cina we.
Welcome to the Nile River. The Nile is the world's longest river. It's also the home and the lifeline to many people and many animals on the continent. The next animals that we meet are going to be pescivores. What is a pescivore, you ask? A pescivore is an animal that eats only fish. If you look behind the river, there's a slender bird with gray feathers. That is a Stanley crane. And then sprinkled throughout the island and the river area, we have a flock of big white birds. They are white pelicans. The pelican is known for having a rubbery pouch underneath its beak called a gular. They use a gular to hold 3 to 5 gallons of water and up to 20 pounds of fish at one time. When they eat their fish, they swallow them head first and whole. That's because they have no teeth. They could not chew them up. There's also a gray bird down here that is not one of the Dallas Zoo's animal collections. That's one of the birds that found out we had free food, so food being and he tells those if he pleases. Are white-faced whistling ducks. They can be found around the coastal regions of South America and also in Africa. Back behind the river, we have some birds that are kind of small. They're black feathers with white on their necks. They are white-breasted cormorants, and they are very good diving birds. They will dive up to 20 feet into the water to catch their dinner. Towards the right-hand side on the land portion, we have another bird with white and black feathers. That is a European stork. The European stork is a migrating bird. They spend 3 months out of the year in Europe, the other 9 months in Africa. At the land portion, if you look all the way to the back, behind the trees and the bushes, we have some large cinnamon-colored animals resting there. They have white stripes going down their sides. They are East African bongos. They are critically endangered. That means that they are almost extinct due to loss of habitat and poaching for their horns. There's only about 100 of those animals that remain in the rainforest of Africa. And that concludes our tour through the cool, wet river. Our next stop is going to be the total opposite. That means that we are headed into the hot, dry deserts. And here we're going to find animals that are well suited for that lifestyle. They are called addax, A-D-D-A-X. During the heat of the summer, these addax are all white in color. That's to help keep the sun's heat away from their skin. But when it turns a little bit cooler outside, they turn a darker brown color. And that's to help attract the sun's heat. These addax can go their entire lives without drinking any water from any major water source. They get all the water they need from the plants and the vegetation that they eat on a daily basis. Yes. In our next desert, if you look all the way to the back, we have a couple of animals that look like donkeys, but they are not. They are Somali wild asses, and they are critically endangered also. They're part of a managed breeding population that we have here at the Dallas Zoo. We're trying to breed them, get their numbers up, so that hopefully they can be released back out into Africa where they belong. Towards the front, we have 3 very large gray animals with long, sharp, pointy horns. They are called Gemsbok. The Gemsbok is one of the most aggressive of the antelope species. And all the way to the right-hand side of this desert, we have 3 very large flightless birds that have eyeballs that are bigger than their brains. They are ostriches. The one with the black feathers is the male ostrich. The male ostrich always has black feathers. The females will always have the sandy brown or gray colored feathers. In our scrub habitat, look right up front here. As soon as we enter the scrub habitat, look right up front. There is a lappet-faced vulture there. There's another one towards the right-hand side behind the river. Well, that's not a river. Behind the little drinking pool area. The lappet-faced vulture is Africa's largest vulture. They are scavenger birds, which means that they will eat anything and everything dead that they can find. Yeah, quick reminder, we need everybody to please make sure you stay seated. Thank you. And our next habitat is kind of hard to see these guys, but there are 2 warthogs down here. If you want a closer view of them, please stop by the savannas because we have more warthogs over there. Matter of fact, it's a family thing here. These 2 are brothers that were born here at the Dallas Zoo, and their mama is over in the savannah. So make sure you stop by and say hello to her. Our next stop is a very large bush habitat. Oh, make sure you have your cameras ready. As soon as we enter, we have a family of geranus that will be right here in front of the train. The word geranus is a Somali word for giraffe neck, so you can easily see how they got their name. They have those long necks that make it easy for them to eat out of the very tall trees. Behind the river, we have 3 very large gray animals with white stripes going down their sides. They are greater kudus. The male that's closest to us, he has those long spirally horns. The females are all the way to the back left-hand side. The very tall birds with gray and white feathers are marabou storks, and they are scavenger birds, just like the rabbit-faced vulture is. The smaller black bird with red on its face is a southern ground hornbill. And then we have a small brown animal all the way to the left-hand side, has a black stripe going down its side. That is the Thompson's gazelle. All the way to the right-hand side of that bush habitat was a very large tree that looked like it was planted upside down with the roots on the top, and it has no greenery on it whatsoever. That is a replica of the baobab tree. The baobab tree is the biggest and oldest tree that you'll find in Africa, and that tree is very important because it can hold hundreds of gallons of water in its trunk. During seasons of drought, people and animals will go up to this tree, peel the bark off, take a nice cool drink, and that will actually sustain a lot of life there until the rains come back and fill up their rivers and lakes with their drinking water. If you guys remember the movie The Lion King, it is the tree that Rafiki the baboon lived in. He called it the tree of life. Make sure you have your cameras ready again. We are now entering our Kimberly Clark chimpanzee habitat, and if you look eye level in the tree, you will see Ramona along with, there's a little hand holding on to her, but she has a baby with her. That's baby Mashindi. He was born January 26th of this year. The one thing you have to remember about chimpanzees is that they are not monkeys, so you will not ever see them monkeying around. They are actually part of the great ape family along with gorillas, orangutans, and bonobos. An easy way to tell the difference between a monkey and an ape is that a monkey will always have some sort of tail. And now we're going to be passing by Africa's largest predators. No, they are not lions. They are Nile crocodiles. Look, they're in the water lurking. That's what they do best. Crocodiles are ambush predators, which means that they'll sit very still for hours, sometimes days on end, just waiting for some unsuspecting animal to come take a cool drink of water. Then all of a sudden, snap! It's dinner time for the crocodile, plain and simple. Speaking of crocodile dinner, we're now passing by our wattled crane habitat. Keep your eyes peeled. Looks like they're probably hiding somewhere in here. The wattled crane is Africa's tallest crane. There they are. They're all the way to the front of their habitat, trying to take a nap. The wattled crane is named after the wattle that's underneath its beak. It has a wattle kind of like a turkey does, only theirs is covered in white feathers. They are monogamous birds, which means they're mated for life. They normally have one chick a year. They'll raise that chick, send them on out, and hope for the best. Kind of like we do with our own children. For just a couple of minutes, we're going to be traveling on the side of our gorilla trail. That's where you'll find the Jake L. Hammond Gorilla Research Station. That is a very popular place because it is air conditioned and there are sofas there. So you can walk in and be very comfortable while you're viewing the gorillas that we have here at the Dallas Zoo. You can also find out about our research and conservation efforts, which, by the way, you guys are helping us out with just by coming out today and paying your admission or showing your membership card. You're saying that you care about these animals and you want to see them around for future generations to enjoy. So we say thank you so much for coming out and supporting us today. If you all have not been to the savannas yet, then this is a perfect view of the entrance. In the savannas, you'll find a herd of African elephants. We have 5 big, beautiful females. We also have a pride of lions that you can view from the Serengeti Grill. And if you guys are looking for a little bit of excitement in your life, make sure you stop by the giraffe feeding platform. That's where you can purchase food to feed to the giraffes and actually check out their 18-inch long purple prehensile tongue. Sometimes they'll wrap that tongue around your fingers when you're feeding them. A Across the treetops, we have a very rocky habitat. That is where our mandrills live. The mandrill is the world's largest monkey. Yep, they are monkeys. They do have a tail, kind of short and stubby, but it still counts all the same. There is a male and a couple of females in that habitat. The male is the one that's big, bright, and colorful on his face and hiney area. The females are much smaller, don't have nearly as many pretty colors to see. We also have a baby in that habitat. His name is Obi. He was born a couple of months ago, so make sure you stop by and see if you can find him around in that habitat. And right next door to the mandrills, you will find the best dressed animals here at the Dallas Zoo. They are the African black-footed penguins. They are tropical birds, so they like it when the temperatures between 50 and 75 degrees year-round. There are about 19 different species of penguins that exist, and out of that 19, only about 5 species of them live in areas where it's actually cold. And the last area that we're passing over right now that smells oh so good is our Wild of Africa Cafe. If you guys are hungry or you just need something cool to drink, make sure you stop by here and grab something before you head on over to Zoo North. What can you find in Zoo North? That's where you'll find tigers, tapirs, birds of prey, and of course everybody's favorite, all those big old snakes and lizards. Hip hip hooray for big old snakes. As we enter back into the station, I have to remind you all to please stay seated until the train comes to a complete stop. If you are sitting at the bottom, please notice there will be a step to get up. If you are sitting at the top, there's a step to get down. Please look around you and grab everything you brought on board today, including cameras, cell phones, sunglasses, and most importantly, your children. You have to grab them all, take them all with you, please. Do not leave them on the train with me. Once again, my name is Tanja with a J. It was my pleasure to be your tour guide today. If you have any questions, comments, need directions, I'll be right here at the exit for all of that. Thank you all so much for riding, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of the day here at the Dallas Zoo.
Ahora voy a tener mucho.